Spring is here and the sun is finally creeping through after one of the wettest winters that I can ever remember. The warm orange glow has been so needed and its return just feels right on time. Every gardener, every grower and farmer right now is filled with anticipation for what is to come. I only started growing my own food 5 years ago. Before that, I had no real connection to the seasons. Feeling that connection now and this anticipation makes me feel so grounded. And this year as a family, we're hoping to grow more food than ever before, all in our garden here in Wales. Not just because we want to avoid going to the supermarket, but because we've recently taken over an old shop in our local town. Soon we'll be able to offer some of our own produce and homemade homestead goods to you guys when you come and visit. And with the weather warming up, it means our beautiful baby girl Willow can finally join us outside in the garden and soak up the benefits too. With spring arriving, so too is one of my favourite free foods, wild garlic. So we've wandered into the woods to pick a bunch to preserve and enjoy over the next few weeks. I made a delicious wild garlic arancini too, and you'll be able to see the recipe on my Instagram soon. And talking of free wild foods, we have one of the most nutritious greens growing as a weed just outside on the bank in our garden, stinging nettles. They're young, tender, and absolutely packed with nutrients right now. So with my gloves on to avoid being covered in stings, I picked a bunch to make a delicious nettle and walnut spread that Teigan and I can enjoy for breakfast. I also picked the last of the leeks from the raised beds and a little coriander from the greenhouse. Stinging nettles have been used by humans on these lands since forever, and they've been used to treat anemia, seasonal allergies, arthritis, and you can even make thread for clothing and twine from the fibrous stems. In the kitchen, the nettles get chopped up roughly along with my leeks, and in a cast iron pan I add a touch of oil and sweat them down until softened. Now for the walnuts. These are grown on a nearby farm and they're absolutely delicious. I've realised there's no need to buy nuts imported from overseas when there's delicious ones growing nearby. We've even planted some in the garden recently. The shelled walnuts go into my oven to toast for a few minutes, then that nettle mix and the toasted walnuts go into my blender. I also add a splash of apple cider vinegar for the probiotics and for some acidity, a couple of cloves of garlic, a pinch of dried chili flakes for a kick of heat, a little ground cumin, and then the fresh coriander, plus some sea salt to bring all the flavours alive. I blitz the mix into a chunky spread, then it can be eaten right away or stored in the fridge for up to a week. But today we're having it on a little pan toasted bread. I'm having some sourdough and Teigan gluten free. Just in time. There you go. That's all right. That's stinging nettles. Oh, you saw it stinging nettles, didn't you? With local walnuts. Enjoy.
You did good.
Why don't we eat more nettles? As society, nettles are incredible.
I think this might be one of the tastiest ways we've had nettles.
That's good to know.
It's so good.
Thank you. Well, free nettles from the garden, local nuts. I'm intrigued to know what nuts are local to you, because I know that I got a worldwide audience, which is mind-blowing. But if you have some really cool nuts near you, make the most of them. I wish I could have cashew nuts grown in the garden, but Wales isn't quite the climate for those, so we'll just stick to our walnuts and cob nuts. But experimenting and making things like this, good food to get us ready for a big day in the garden.
Thank you so much.
That's okay. Becoming a new dad has changed so much of my philosophy and my mentality, actually, because it's made me realise how fast life comes and goes. Actually, it's been like 5 or 6 months since our baby Willow was born, and it's gone by just like that. And it got me thinking about my life before in my early 20s, the experiences I had, and how sometimes I feel like I just rush through without being present enough. And I'm thinking, you know, one day I may look back at these early months with Willow and just think, I wish I could relive those moments. So I want to be more grounded, more present, and actually take in the tiny everyday moments that are so easy to overlook. And that's what pushed me to get some outside perspective. And one really good thing I learned was to start building small presence rituals throughout the day. Just gentle pauses that help me appreciate where I'm at instead of racing ahead. And it's made such a difference. So that's why I'm partnering with BetterHelp for this paid partnership. They make getting started with therapy so straightforward. And for me, someone who always sort of ran away from getting help, it was just so seamless to reach out and get set up with BetterHelp. You just fill out a quick questionnaire and they match you with a credentialed therapist who's trained to listen and give honest, unbiased guidance. And if it doesn't feel like the right fit, you can just switch therapists at any time at no extra cost. If you're curious to explore therapy yourself, then please check out my link. It's betterhelp.com/Gaz for 10% off your first month. That link is also in the description box too. Therapy for me has just helped me remember to be present mentally during these important times. We also love to drink nettle tea regularly for all the health benefits, so I'll be harvesting plenty to dry and store in our apothecary for the months ahead. But did you know you can actually make a potent plant food for your indoor and outdoor plants with nettles and just one other surprising ingredient? This is a fermented plant juice fertilizer, which is something that's traditionally used in natural farming methods, particularly in Korean natural farming. The idea is to capture the nutrients and growth hormones of fast-growing plants and weeds like nettles and preserve them through fermentation. All I do is chop some of my nettles up roughly and mix them with an equal weight of sugar. I bash them a bit in a mixing bowl, then pack them into my jar. Over about a week, the sugar draws out the plant juices through osmosis, and then it's left to ferment for about 5 to 7 days. You'll see it break down into a dark green liquid, and after that, I strain it off and store the liquid. It keeps for months and you only need a tiny amount diluted in your watering can when feeding your plants. Oh yes, there's quite a lot of syrup coming out. This is great. And it's so potent as well that you don't need much of this. This is actually really hard to get all the juice out. I'm going to use my hands. It's going to be messy. Oh yeah, I can feel it all. There we go, look at that. Some cheesecloth would be good. Squeeze it all through some cheesecloth. I think I got all of the juice out now. I roughly use about 10 ml of nettle syrup to 10 litres of water, and you can make this syrup with really any organic matter in your garden, but herbs like comfrey, dandelion leaf and nettle for me work best. Making your own feeds your plants and soil and saves you buying expensive fertilizers. Look at my little tomato plants. You would have seen me sow these warm loving plants in a previous video with Teigan, chilies, aubergines and peppers, and I did a few tomatoes just to experiment. They do need a bit more light. As you can see, they're quite tall, which means they're really climbing, trying to get more light, and these LED lights aren't quite cutting it. But tomato plants are quite forgiving. What I'll do is just plant these slightly lower into the pots that I'm potting them into now, and the little hairs on the stem will root and give this plant more stability and make it a bit more sturdy. I'm actually using old cans, which I've just poked a hole into the bottom, and it's a good plastic-free alternative, good way of repurposing something that you would just, I guess, give to recycling into a quite rustic, quirky plant pot. Tomatoes are one of the most rewarding crops to grow, and with heirloom varieties costing so much at the supermarket, growing your own can save you a lot of money. We grow enough to give us a supply of tomatoes for most of the year by preserving them through drying and fermenting. Like my tomato kimchi, one of the most delicious ferments you will ever try, and the recipe can be found in my new cookbook, Plant to Plate. Supporting and buying the cookbook, especially from my website where you can get signed copies, means I can continue making these videos. So please support by grabbing a copy of the book. Oh, the sun is trying to break through today. It's not a glorious spring day, but it's not raining, and that's nice because we've had so much rain. On a sunny day recently, I actually redid all of this pathway with Teigan. We used our rakes to scrape up the old wood chip, which had decomposed, and there was worms in it and everything. We scraped that up onto the beds that surround the pathway, adding some lovely rich compost onto each one. And then I just wheelbarrowed a load of wood chip up onto the pathways, spreading it out. It gives the area a real lift. I still have some more to do, but I've managed to do the greenhouse as well, and it feels almost ready for spring. Today though, one bit we have neglected is our raised bed area. Right now, it really looks bad, and we need to do a lot of work to bring them back to life. So the first thing, Teigan's down there now, just getting rid of any weeds, and we'll make sure there's nothing left in the beds before putting on some really incredible mushroom compost. How are you getting on?
Good. There's a lot
I can't
of
believe
weeds.
how neglected these beds are. I don't think they've ever been this weed infested, but it's because, I guess, having a baby means that you just take your eye off the ball a little bit on certain things. But it won't take us long now to get rid of all of these weeds, and we got that amazing mushroom compost from a local mushroom grower.
Yeah.
We'll spread like an inch of that on top of these beds once we've weeded them.
Yeah, it'll look great in no time.
Yeah. I'll get a bucket and we can just put any weeds like this in a pile, and they can just go on the compost heap. Teigan likes this dog.
Yeah, I do. I love any task where you can see visually a transformation quickly as well.
Any little bits of like old carrots or bits of roots, you can just leave in to rot down and just, it'll all give back to the soil.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if they would like regrow.
Well, the carrots could potentially regrow
That's not a bad
and
thing.
produce seeds, but if they're just like chopped up and old bits, there's not much life left in them. And even things like this, if you just break it up a little bit.
I have a question.
Yeah.
You see this weed, all of the roots.
Yeah.
If the roots were to stay in here and you just get rid of that, does that not then grow more weed?
It could do, but if you just chop it up, there's a technique called chop and drop, which just means like you just chop up things, any organic matter really, and it just all breaks down into the soil and adds fertility.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, kind of a rough version of that. Yeah, I'm gonna go and get a wheelbarrow.
Okay, ready?
We don't want it all to come out. I love you. Please, careful. Well, that was the lazy way of doing it. So this, guys, is the best mushroom compost ever. Oh, so if this doesn't grow really good quality food, I don't know what will. This is a lot. That'll probably do.
Wow.
Of mushroom compost. Basically, there's a local mushroom grower where I buy my mushrooms from if I haven't grown them myself, and all of the substrate that they use to feed the mushrooms as they grow, they pile up and let rot down, and it turns into this stuff, which I think is pretty much the most luxurious compost I have ever handled. And we're putting like an inch or two on top of each bed now, and hopefully this will give the soil a good lift. It will feed the soil, and everything that we plant into these beds will reap the benefits. It's lovely stuff, isn't it, T?
Yeah.
All right, next task, spread some of this over the top, keep the moisture in, and it will rot down, adding nutrients to the soil.
Okay.
Just a thin layer. There we go, there's one done. Well done. Over the next few days, we tidied up all of the beds, and the results completely transformed the look of the garden. They're all ready now for the new season of planting. It is nice to get out of that wind. And lovely and warm in here, isn't it?
Yeah, so nice.
We did the exact same process a few days ago in this greenhouse, putting the lovely wood chip down for the floor, and then the same topping each bed with the mushroom compost and then a bit of hay on top. And recently you've been sowing seeds. It was yesterday you sowed a load of seeds, wasn't it?
Yeah, yesterday. So I'm out here with my mug of tea. I've got my station set up here with the modular trays, homemade compost. I've got my seeds. I've already sown parsley, coriander, radish, but I still have some rocket and salad and leeks to do. Yeah, it's so nice being back out here. It's been a long time, but whilst Gaz has willow, I thought I'd just make the most of it, get out here. It's my favourite part, I think, sowing seeds of the whole gardening process, aside from harvesting the produce. But it's been a really long time, so I'm going to make the most of it whilst I've got some time.
These are some little radishes that I actually sowed a few weeks ago as an experiment, really, to see if we could have them early. And they're ready to go in the ground.
The roots are great.
Should we just keep them in the greenhouse for extra warmth, and maybe they'll get like the earliest crop of radishes ever? Generally we sow radishes directly into the ground, but for this batch I decided to do an early test in modular trays. Once their roots are established, they can go straight into the soil. Teigan used the dibber to create little holes in the compost, and each small cluster of radishes is placed into its own hole, making sure the roots have good contact with the soil beneath. This is fun. This is the first time we've planted out anything this year, isn't it?
Look at that one.
Oh wow, yes. That is when you know you've got good soil. The worms are loving it. I love being in the garden with you.
Me
it's
too.
The best thing in the world. It may look like our soil is really nice and rich and dark and beautiful, but actually all of the land here that we're on is just thick red clay. And if you've watched our recent video where we created a whole new big bed at the top with the help of my hoe. What are you laughing at? With my hoe, which is a tool, you would have seen how much it is just clay, and that would be perfect for when we're building our cob home, but we're not doing it here. So I just thought to myself, why don't we just try and make some primitive plates and bowls and little pinch pots with the very clay that is in our garden. So we're going to harvest some clay, take it inside and try and form it into some plates and bowls.
Ooh.
See, look. That clay.
Wow.
That is pure clay. And the good thing is, I did a little experiment, and this hasn't got many stones in it or large bits, but it has like this sandy sort of grain, which is really good for when you're firing it. If it was just pure clay, it would probably crack. So the fact that it's got little stones of sediment and things like that, from the research I've done, that is very good for making primitive pots. Although I've not done it before, they could just crack when they go in my makeshift kiln that I'm going to build. We'll get it in this bucket, and as we're putting it in, we'll just get rid of any like green bits, any roots, any stones and things like that. A great test is if you were to form it into a ball and then see if you can make like a sausage. Yeah, you need to knead it a little bit first to get out the oxygen, the air. But look, see how you can make a sausage? That's good clay. And it may be a little bit dry and that's why it's cracking, but you just add water as you're working it inside. And this feels like really good. There's not much sediment or anything, just nice sandy bits.
I'm impressed. I didn't realise we would have clay on our doorstep like this.
And if we were building our cob house on this very land, this would be amazing. We'd dig a big trench to get our clay, which we could turn into a natural swimming pool or a pond. And our home, the building material for our home is under our feet. We just need some straw. That's it.
We should do like a little home project.
Yeah, we'll
make a pizza oven.
That's a good idea, yeah. A little mini cob pizza oven soon. Alright, well, I'm happy with this amount. That'll make us a good few bowls. It looks, oh, careful. It's got a few plant roots in it, but I'll go through it now inside and see if we can get any of that stuff out and try and form it into some plates and bowls, see what we can do. See how good our pottery skills are. We're learning. I'm gonna grab the fork, the spade.
4, 5, 6, pick up sticks, 7, 8, lay them straight. 9, 10, a big fat hen. 11, 12, dig and delve. 13, 14 maids are
I
courting.
don't know how I got so lucky.
I got so lucky.
You're just
15,
kind.
16. 16, what's 16?
Inside, I sift through the clay to remove any more woody bits, stones or anything else we don't want in the clay. Then we added enough water to bring it all into a lovely ball. Feels good for the hands.
This should be light work compared to cob house building.
Well, you'd be using your feet. That's a good idea.
No.
So I use my feet.
No. You need a pedicure before you do that.
The clay felt really nice to work with and was surprisingly moisturising on the hands. So what are you going to try and make, T?
I think a little pinch pot.
Pinch pot, nice.
Yeah.
I had a thought. Try and make one of these coasters that we got from Mexico.
It's a good idea.
And then if I can be more adventurous, I'll do just a bigger version like their plates they do. This stuff is beautiful from the Yucatan. Whenever I've done pottery in the past using like the wheel, I find it too perfect. I always want to have like the rustic rough edges or like the waves and the sort of non-uniform shape. So doing stuff with just your hands rather than a wheel is way more attractive to me.
I was going to do a pinch pot, but
It's turning into a dog bowl.
cheeky.
I think my coaster is pretty much done. So we've put it on this wood
That looks great.
and let it dry. Our clay pieces will be left to dry for the next few weeks until they're completely bone dry. Then I'll attempt to make a primitive kiln to fire them. More on that in a future episode. A few months ago, back in autumn, just before our baby girl was born, we made the most of our neighbour's apple trees. She has plenty of them and more apples than she can use, so she kindly told us we could pick as many as we liked. After travelling to France and spending time with my friend Samuel and his family on their homestead where they grow all of their food for the whole year and make the most delicious cider with their apples that I have ever tasted, I was so inspired to try and make my own. These aren't traditional cider apples, but they're sweet. You just need to have a sweet apple that has a bit of acidity, some tannins in it. That's delicious. I didn't have a traditional cider press to extract the juice from the apples, so I use an electric juicer. It's a bit of a risk because those kinds of juicers add a lot of air into the juice, but I persevered anyway and hoped it would work. The only thing I need to be concerned about when juicing my apples with a modern electric juicer like this is that sort of foaminess and the aeration that's happened to the juice. That could cause issues when fermenting this. So it's an experiment. I hope it is okay. In an ideal world, I'd have a cider juice press or go to a community space where they're doing it. I missed that boat on this occasion, but fingers crossed this works okay. Once I had created my juice, I placed it into a fermentation vessel, added an airlock, and left it to sit for about 4 to 5 months. And during that time, the wild yeast found naturally on the apples consumes the sugars, turning them into alcohol, whilst the flavours slowly transform into that rich tannic cider taste. I kept an eye on the airlocks, and once the bubbles had calmed down and fermentation had mostly stopped, it was time to bottle. This is an exciting day. My cider, 2 of the barrels are ready to bottle up. I know they're ready because the fermentation has pretty much gone to zero. There's no bubbles coming through the airlock. There is one every about 10 minutes on this one, and maybe I should leave this to just finish off, but I don't really just want to bottle one. It's quite a process, so I want to do 2 at a time. I've got one more that's way more active, so that does have to wait. The reason being, if I put it into the bottle now, there's going to be such an active fermentation going on that the bottle of cider could get quite explosive and it'll be very fizzy. And I've done that mistake in the past, and every time I go to open a bottle, fizz goes everywhere. And it's fun and you get a nice carbonation, but I don't want to lose half the bottle every time I open one. It's that delicious, it's precious. And I'm excited for today because this is 3 months in the making, 3 months since I picked the apples, and I've made an Artisan, very traditional cider, despite not having a traditional press either, which is I'm very happy with. So what I'm going to do, I've got some sterilized bottles. I just put some bottles in a saucepan of water and brought it to the boil. And the fun part, how am I going to get this from the vessel into the bottle? Well, I'm going to siphon it using my mouth as suction, which is definitely not up to hygiene standards, but I'm not selling this. This is for my family and myself only. We're not giving it away. And I've done this in the past. Nothing goes wrong. This is how they would have done it historically before machinery came along and health and safety red tape and stuff. Anyway, I'm going to siphon this from the vessel into the bottle, making sure not to pick up any of the sediment in the bottom of the fermentation vessel. Right, here it goes. Oh, quite nervous for this. It tastes good. Oh no. Oh, Teigan behind the camera is not going to be pleased with this. It's gone everywhere, but that's my first bottle of cider. A bit full, I must admit. It tastes good though. Wow. And at this point you can add honey to add more fizz, but I'm just keeping it plain for now. Oh. There we go. I think that's the last bottle. There's a bit of sediment left, which is fine. Oh, this one is a bit full. There we go. I'm a little tipsy. All right, it's time to cap this batch. I've got 2, 4, 6, only 6 bottles. They are big bottles and these are smaller vessels. But yeah, I'm gonna need to up my cider production next year if I want a whole year's supply, because 6 bottles from one, and I've only got 3, 18 bottles. I need to get some whiskey barrels and ferment it in barrels. Anyway, I'm gonna cap these now with my lids. I got this ingenious little bottle capper online. I'll pop a link beneath this video for one of these. I use this for my kombucha and all sorts. And then we'll label the bottles. I'll leave them out of the fridge for about 3 days. That will mean that any leftover yeast and sugar, they'll keep producing gases and it'll carbonate the cider really nicely. And after a couple more weeks, I could finally taste my cider, although it will get much better the longer I leave it. Today is the day. I think I deserve this. This is my homemade cider, ready to taste after about 4 or 5 months in the making. Yes, it's ready to taste.
Can I smell? Wow, that smells great.
Well, it's perfect timing because you've got the stew warming up too. That's amazing. Wow. Oh, now I've had a love-hate relationship with alcohol throughout the years, but it's because the culture that I was brought up in was binge drinking and not respecting what alcohol is. And countrysides and culture in farming communities, often they made homemade alcohol with surplus of apples in this case, or grapes with making wine, and it was a drink that was cherished and enjoyed, and often in many cultures a spiritual practice too. And drinking this is like flicking through the memories of last summer when I watched these apples grow, when I picked them in autumn, and the process of watching it ferment. It's like, it tastes like the taste of yesterday, which is great. I feel incredibly lucky and grateful to have had the opportunity to leave the city 5 years ago. It was a big leap out of my comfort zone, having only ever known city living. But learning these new skills and becoming more connected with nature, trying to become more self-sufficient, has made me feel so much more resilient and given me the most amazing purpose for the future. In this ever-changing, unpredictable world, I think these connections we should all prioritize as much as we can, even if it's just cooking for yourself or learning where your food comes from. Sowing a few seeds on your balcony or windowsill, or joining a community growing space. If you want to feel like you have a little bit more control and power over your destiny, I cannot recommend learning to grow your own food enough. The new growing season is starting right now, and there's still plenty of time to sow seeds, and I urge you to have a go. I'm so proud to have this passion in my life, and I can't wait to share everything I'm learning with my little girl and with you guys through these videos.
Your mouth is drooling.
You're hungry. You're going to be fed well, little girl, when you can eat. You're getting fed well now with the lovely breast milk. I'm sure this stew is even better today. It's absolutely delicious. Oh guys, it is such a joy to be out in the garden with the sun at last. We've just had a few days here and there with a bit of sun, and we've made every opportunity to come out, haven't we?
Yeah, it's lovely.
Yeah, so thank you so much for watching. We, if you don't know, are opening a shop, aren't we? You're laughing because I can't get my words out. We are opening a store. We are excited, but we're also very, very nervous. And we're so close to being open. We're heading there right now after we finish making this video. And we're doing the last bits. So we're going to quietly open without anyone sort of knowing, apart from the local community that walks past. But then we'll do an official opening day that we'll announce on our Instagram in the next few days, weeks, who knows. But just stay tuned to the Instagram. What is the shop called? How can they find us on Instagram?
Teigan, Teiferm.
I was saying, moving my mouth as you were saying, that's so weird. We're so conjoined. So at Teiferm on Instagram, you can find our shop. If you like these videos and you want us to make more, the only way we can do it is if you keep supporting, comment, like, subscribe. And if you want to go the extra mile, please think about getting a copy of my book, Plant to Plate, on my website. My mum ships them all around the world, and they're signed as well. Willow's getting a bit grumpy, but you're okay. Thank you again, guys, for watching from our little family here in Wales. I hope wherever you are in the world, you're happy and healthy, and you're connecting to nature just like we are through growing food and being outside and foraging and all that stuff. Thanks again. See you soon.
Bye.
Wave to the camera. Keep waving.
You're going to do your joke to Willow
keep
when she's
waving.
older.
Wave, wave, wave. There we go.
I'm from Yorkshire, everyone. Did you know I'm from Yorkshire? Can you guess where in Yorkshire from? Could be Hull. No, I'd say all like this. I'm from Hull. Grimsby. Wakefield. I'm from Wakefield. No, I'm not really.